Hat, sunglasses, Pepsi, notes, sources, thick skin, check. You already know. Let's go. Golden Blued is a college football YouTube channel for entertainment. So make sure to hit that like and subscribe button, and let's get into our next college football video. Bragging rights. One of the main reasons why we all watch any type of sports. But the thing about bragging rights is they're only good for 1 year. And then the next year you got to do it all over again. And as a West Virginia fan, right now the reason I have to put thick skin on the checklist is West Virginia absolutely sucks. We suck. Even Marshall, lowly Marshall, has bragging rights over West Virginia. Even though we didn't play each other, Marshall had a much better year than West Virginia. So today I'm going to take the Carolinas, North Carolina and South Carolina, all the teams in FBS in those two states, and rank them last year and this year to see who had bragging rights last year and who has bragging rights this year. And the results might actually surprise you. And yes, in the future, I will do bragging rights for the Virginias. And West Virginia fans will probably not be happy with those results. But I gotta do it. I gotta stay true to it. But today, we're doing the Carolinas. Bragging rights for the teams, the FBS college football teams in the states of North Carolina and South Carolina. First, we'll start with last year. Who had the bragging rights in 2021 for North Carolina and South Carolina as the best team in the Carolinas? This one might surprise you as well. We'll start at the bottom and work our way up. Last year was a little bit easier to determine. There was more gap. This year, a little more difficult. A lot of tiebreakers were involved this year. But for 2021, coming in at number 10 was lowly Duke. They had a terrible year last year, going 3-9. Not a very good football team. And yes, the worst team in the Carolinas. Coming in at number 9 was Charlotte. People forget that Charlotte has a college football team in the FBS, and they do. They went 5-7, not a very good football team, but yes, one spot above Duke. Coming in at number 8, this one might surprise you. North Carolina, they were not very good last year. They finished 6-7. They barely got to a bowl. Lost that bowl to another Carolina team, which is why they're ranked below them. That brings me to number 7, East Carolina. 7-5, decent year, I guess, but still not at the top when it comes to Carolina football teams. Number 6, South Carolina, the team that beat North Carolina in the bowl game. They finished 7-6, a respectable year, first year under Shane Beamer, and South Carolina is building something there in Columbia, South Carolina. Now we're in the top half. Number 5, Appalachian State. They actually had a decent year last year. 10-4, double-digit win season. Pretty good team, but not the best team in the Carolinas. Coming in at number 4, they finished number 20 in the nation. I'm talking about the NC State Wolfpack. They finished 9-3, pretty good year. Lost to a couple of Carolina teams, but still, number 4, that's not bad. Coming in at number 3, Coastal Carolina, just a little bit better than NC State. Coastal Carolina went 11-2. Jamie Chadwell was doing a wonderful job over there at Coastal Carolina. Had a great year last year, and I have them as number 3 in 2021. Coming in at number 2, and this one right here will be somewhat controversial, because number 2 did beat number 1 head-to-head in the regular season. But when I look at the end of the season, I had to rank them this way. So number 2 is going to be Clemson, who finished number 14. 10-3 season. Yes, that is a letdown year for Clemson, but still at least one of the best teams in the Carolinas. But that brings me to number 1, Wake Forest, who finished number 15, 11-3, ACC runner-ups. Yes, they finished one ranking below Clemson, and yes, they got beat Clemson in Death Valley, but they got to the ACC championship, and they finished with the slightly better year. So I have to make Wake Forest the best team in the Carolinas in 2021. Who would have ever thought that? Wake Forest being the best team in both North Carolina and South Carolina. Fast forward to 2022, and how things have changed. Things have changed a lot. Some of the teams that were on the bottom are now on the top, and some of the teams that were at the top are now at the bottom. This is what I'm talking about with bragging rights. They only last for 1 year, and then you have to redo it again the next year, and so on and so forth. For 2022, here we go. Number 10, bottom of the barrel, Charlotte. Sorry, Niners. You weren't a very good football team. You finished 3-9. Everybody just beat up on you. Not a very good football team. So you fell one spot. Coming in at number 9 is Appalachian State, dropping 4 spots from 2021. This year they finished 6-6, but I found out that they did not qualify for a bowl because they scheduled 2 FCS teams. That's cheating. You can't do that. You can only count one FCS team as a win towards bowl eligibility. You tried to cheat. You scheduled 2. Sorry, you are denied. No bowl for you. Number 8, Coastal Carolina, and they finished 9-4. So that tells you how crazy this year was for the Carolina football teams. They did beat Appalachian State, so they're a spot above Appalachian State. Finishing 9-4, that's still a pretty good year, but that's still a drop of 5 spots. Very surprising. Coming in at number 7, East Carolina. Finished exactly the same as last year as far as my rankings go. 1 win more than last year, 8-5. They beat Coastal Carolina in the bowl game, and that's why they're 1 spot above Coastal Carolina in my Carolina rankings. Coming in at number 6, Wake Forest. Wow. I don't know if I saw that one coming. They finished 8-5. That's still a good year, but Wake Forest got beat by a lot of Carolina football teams, so it puts them at number 6. Coming in at number 5, big time jumper here, Duke. That's right, Duke finished 8-4. They did beat Wake Forest in the regular season, so they are 1 spot above Wake Forest. Duke did much better this year. First year head coach Mike Elko doing great things over there at Duke. Coming in at number 4, another jumper, North Carolina, finishing 9-4. They beat Duke and Wake Forest and Appalachian State. That's why they make the jump to number 4, and they finished 9-4. That's a pretty good season. That's up 4 spots from 2021. Coming in at number 3, the number 23 NC State Wolfpack, finishing 8-4. They did beat North Carolina and East Carolina and Wake Forest. That's why they're at the number 3 spots. Not as good of a year as last year, but still up 1 spot from last year. Coming in at number 2, again, number 7, Clemson, staying the same. Finished 11-2, the best record out of all the Carolina teams. And they did beat NC State, North Carolina, and Wake Forest, which is why they're as high as they are. But they did lose to 1 Carolina team. And that brings me to number 1, the best Carolina team in 2022. Number 19, South Carolina, who finished 8-4. Yes, their record not as impressive as Clemson. No, they're not going to as an impressive bowl game as Clemson. But they did beat Clemson head-to-head, and they do play in the SEC. You have to take everything into consideration, and that's why I have South Carolina as the number 1 team in both North Carolina and South Carolina in 2022. By the way, here are the bowls that all the Carolina teams went to. Charlotte, well, they didn't go to a bowl. Appalachian State, well, they also didn't go to a bowl. Wake Forest beat Missouri in the Gasparilla Bowl. East Carolina beat Coastal Carolina head-to-head in the Birmingham Bowl. Duke will play UCF in the Military Bowl. North Carolina will play number 15 Oregon in the Holiday Bowl. Number 23 NC State will play Maryland in the Dukes Mayo Bowl. Number 19 South Carolina will play number 21 Notre Dame in the Gator Bowl. And then number 7 Clemson will play number 6 Tennessee in the Orange Bowl. So Clemson will play a team that South Carolina has already beat. And I'm sorry, even if Clemson beats Tennessee, there is no way they will be able to match the margin of victory that South Carolina put on Tennessee. So yes, I am confident with these rankings. I have South Carolina as the number 1 best team in both North Carolina and South Carolina in 2022. So y'all let me know in the comments section, do you agree with my rankings? Do you think that Wake Forest was the best Carolina team in 2021 and that South Carolina was the best Carolina team in 2022? If not, give me your rankings. That's all I got for this show. Like and subscribe if you haven't already, and I'll see you on my next show.